are, Chiro Mafia. You've been waiting for this. I know you have. Hey, it's just Joe and I today, man, but you better get ready because the fuel is rocket fuel. You're going to get on a rocket, and that rocket's going to be your mindset. And man, you are going to break through that glass ceiling, break into the next level of the atmosphere so you can look back and see everything from a new perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's going to relate to your PVA, man. It's all about keeping them. It's not about closing them. It's all about lifestyle. It's not about anything else.
Yes.
And
I
it's
do have
all
a shout
about
out.
affecting generations. What's that?
I want to give a shout out to Archie Ansfer, who's a part of Car Passion, but he loves you, Fred, thinks you're hysterical, loves our podcast. So I definitely wanted to give him a shout out. So he's discovered Reggie. So he was my mentor,
Awesome.
and I got a lot of recordings of Reggie. So he's on fire, which is great. So
Yeah, that's good. Reggie has a way of doing that.
yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah. So, well, while you weren't enjoying your morning Danish because I don't know, I think Melody turned the dryer up a little too hot. You know, it's like you got to stretch that waistline out a little bit. It's definitely not the Danishes, but come on.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
So
what happened?
it's cappuccino and no more Danish, no more cornetti in the morning, which is like a croissant. So no
Which
more
is
though.
almost like a sin.
Yeah, it's just coffee, a light little walk, maybe swim in the morning, get that body moving. I got to start burning, to up the protein, cut back on those freaking carbs, and I'll be fine. So it's all
And
good.
then some great ricotta stuffed raviolis for dinner tonight.
Dude, it's pasta, it's everything. It's like, holy Jesus. And then every time we go out, I mean, I literally, when I'm home in the States, I don't think I even have like hardly a glass of wine once in a while, whatever. But now it's like, you're having a half a bottle of Prosecco every time you go out. You got the aperitif, the whole thing. So it's
Dude,
funny.
you can't not have it. I remember I went out to
No.
lunch. I was in Rome. And we go to this little underground restaurant, man. It was like in the basement. You had to walk down practically 2 flights to get in there. And then the guy's like, Vino Rosa? And we're like, I'm looking at my buddy. You feel like drinking wine? No, 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 no. No, we're okay. And he stands there. He's like, Vino Rosa? And we're like, no,
Exactly.
no, no, I'm good. And he doesn't leave. Vino Rosa? And we're looking like, and my buddy's like, look, dude, he's not going to leave. We go, fine. Next thing you know, we pound down a couple liters of wine,
Exactly.
you know? And then after lunch, cafe? No, I'm okay. And he stands there, cafe? No, really? No, I'm good. You want any coffee? No. Do you want espresso? No. And he's still standing there. We're like, fine, bring the cafe. It's like, he's looking at you like, I don't understand. I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm confused. You
It's
drink
like
wine at
Nona's.
lunch.
It's like the Nonas. Are you hungry? You want something? No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I just ate. Let me make you something. And they don't even care what you say. They're gonna make you something anyway. It's meaningless. It's freaking meaningless. Why even say it? You just sit out and you just go with the flow. It's just hysterical. So
And I remember when I was in college, I came home with my new girlfriend for the first time, whatever. And so my mom, hey, let me make you a sandwich. So she takes this Italian loaf, cuts it in half, lay la la la, makes the whole thing, does it, and then serves it to me, and then goes to my girlfriend, what do you want? And she goes, I'll have half of that. And my mom's like, that's his. Like, but
exactly.
what was funny was the look of confusion.
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
What?
understand. No, that's his sandwich. Like the whole loaf of bread.
Exactly. That's funny. I got to tell you, what's kind of scary is I look like fucking Uncle Paulie from Sopranos. Look at the gray coming
Look
in,
at
and that's
that, man.
literally white. I got to get back. I use a Control DX, that shampoo that darkens my hair, and I ran out, so I haven't used it in Italy. I've been out here a couple of months, so I haven't used it. I'm like, damn, that shit's white. It ain't
Dude, that's
silver,
why
it's
when I get my
white.
hair cut, I'm like, cut the grays out. How you gonna do that? Give me a miracle. You got to make me look good, man. I know there's a miracle happening. I need miracles right now.
Yeah, that was my post. I posted on the Facebook talking about retention and was this whole 90-day care plan. I said we got to cut that shit out, and I said, hell, even my barber schedules me once a month for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
He's got more,
exactly.
he's got more support than Nate than most
More
of the
conviction.
chiropractors. Like, what the hell's
Yeah,
going on out
I
there?
know. My stylist has more conviction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
So you were talking about, yeah, so a great topic, your idea. Talk a little bit about our mastermind. We had a mastermind in Italy. We had about 20, I think we had 24 people total.
Wow,
And it
that's
was,
awesome.
yeah, it was actually a fantastic showing of people and family. And
Experience.
yeah, 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 no doubt. It's transformational. And then, Fred, you run a lot of those yourself. One of the great things, it doesn't have to be here because we don't always do it in Italy, but it's getting out of that comfort zone. It's taking you out of what you anchor, what you identify to, really. I identify as being a chiropractor in New York, in Cicero, and this is what I do. And so that's kind of your strength, but that's also your attachment. So to take somebody from what they feel comfortable in, where they draw their identity and strength, and put you somewhere else in the planet, and now we're gonna be able to talk where you're not anchored, and you find your strength within the group, and then through that you build your strength through some change, and that really helps assists in the transformation.
Oh,
So that's what I
absolutely.
take out of there. Yeah,
Yeah, one of the ways to change perspective, this is life coaching, is change geography, put yourself in
yeah,
a different environment. And
exactly.
that's even, you can change geography in an exam room with a patient. Like if a
Right,
person is sitting there with their arms folded, and you know this innately, if they're sitting there and their arms folded, they're not listening, then stand them up, move them to the other
right,
side of the room, bring them in
right.
front of a chart, have them unfold their arms, changing their body physically. Pattern interrupts their
Yes,
nervous system.
yes, 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 yes.
So, but yeah, that's well, not only that, being in Italy, my God, I mean, change geography, but where do I want to change it to? Joe's house in Italy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So that
like,
was
how can you lose on that one?
yeah. So we do Thursday night we do a meet and greet because a lot of docs that we work with are on different, they're all over the world. We had some docs from Europe and we had some docs from the States. And so they're, all over the States. So they're all coming. So a lot of them have never met each other before. So that's always nice. And that kind of gets the juices flowing. And then the next morning, we do a breakfast together. We did yoga, we did breath work, just kind of get everybody adjusted. I got some tables out here, so they were all adjusting everybody. So that was great. And then we get all the docs together, and then we do a transformational experience. The one thing we did, one of the first parts, we always do something different as you do, Fred. What we did is we took a piece of string, red string, and we put increments on there of centimeters. And we took the average lifespan of a woman. We had some female docs and some male docs. So male docs are around 74, female docs about 81, and that's the average lifespan in the United States. And so we put those increments on there, so everyone got a strand of life increments. And then we took a pair of scissors symbolically, and we said, okay, count how many years you are old, right? Or how many years you are, and cut that. And then you take that piece off, and then you're left with a tail. Mine wasn't very long. So that's where that was the beginning of our weekend. We've done a lot of different things symbolically, but for the
So, what did
transfer,
people get
but
out of that?
I think it's a tangible experience. It's a tangible representation of how much time you have left. It's a tangible, touchable way to experience how much time you got left on the planet
Yeah,
and
well,
how
I understand that. So, as people gave you feedback, though, when I say what did they get out of it, what was their feedback? Because I'm sure you
oh
talk about it. Like, what'd you get from that, man? What did people say?
yeah they it was, I would say, fear was a big one. um Concern, um
Fear of
clarity.
what?
Fear of what?
Yeah.
Is that
Well, yeah, fear of what?
both? Fear
Like,
of
oh my
death,
God, am
fear
I
of
going to
how
be
much
able?
time they had left, fear that, man, they didn't have a lot of time left if they wanted to get shit done. How much time am I wasted? How much time have I wasted if I'm
So, do they
trying?
have fear that they may not fulfill their purpose or why
Yes,
they're here?
100%. Yes,
Right.
yes, yeah. Yeah.
I would say that's a number one fear, man.
Yeah, and let's face it, the docs that came out, I mean, as you know, you coach a lot of people and you've coached a lot of people for a long time. So for the most part, and again, I say this out of love. I know there's always exceptions there, but if it's important, you find a way. If it's not important, you find an excuse. So the docs that made it out and spent the time, the effort, the money, the change of schedule and kids and all that other stuff you got to deal with. They're here for an experience. I mean, they're here
Yeah.
because they
They're here
want
to
to
transform.
grow, right? And so that already kind of filtered out. So the people that were here were already, superheroes, if you will, and they were like, okay, I'm ready to make something happen. And then from that, it just jump started it. So that really I'd set a tone for that first day for everyone to really focus of like, holy shit, I want to get something out of this weekend. I don't want to fucking waste this weekend. I don't want to waste today. I don't want to, I mean, we're going to have a great experience here, but in this moment for the next couple hours, I want to make sure we're getting something out of this because I want to go somewhere. I want to get somewhere. I want to get something done. I want to make something happen in my life. And
Yeah.
I need to be a better version I need to be a better
Of
version of
myself.
showing up. Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, I want to share a story because it
Yeah.
relates to that
Yeah.
string. So, my second wife passed away with cancer, and about 3 weeks before she died, she was totally incapacitated, disabled. I mean, normally she weighed like 122 pounds, and she was probably down to about 80 pounds, 85 pounds. I mean, she was wasted away, and so she wanted to take a bath. So I carried her to the bathtub, and then we were planning her life celebration, which was a whole nother experience, picking her up and feeling her 80-pound body, was because I had picked her up at 122, and now she's 80
Right.
pounds. So we're planning on having a conversation, and then all of a sudden she started howling, crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she said, now chiropractors can hopefully understand this, and this relates to that string. She said, I don't know if I did what I was supposed to do in this life.
Yeah.
And the weight that I felt was unbearable. And then after, maybe it felt like 2 minutes, but it was probably like 3 seconds, I thought, well, I am doing what I'm doing. And then a loud voice in my head said, no one in my life will ever say that to me again. And that's the purpose. Like, I know that's your purpose, and that's why we coach, because
Right.
we fill that vision in practice. That's why your purpose expands to help other doctors, right? And you know this, when you get docs they reach all their goals in practice. They have a great life for their family. Their kids are growing up, people are healthy, kids are going to college, they can take vacations, they have all that, and then their purpose expands. So when you're looking at that timeline and you say, wow, what was the most common fear? Because if there's more in you than what you've done before.
Yeah.
Now, your head can justify why you have a great life, but your heart knows why you're here. And then I want to just add one more thing. I was listening to
Yeah.
this video on Instagram of this pastor. I don't know her name, I forget, but she said, when God talks to you, or you go, at the end of your life, he was going to go, how come you didn't write that book? Well, it's hard to get published, and a lot of lives go, I called you to write that book. There were millions of people that their lives could have come to God, could have come to me if you wrote that book. How come you didn't write that book? And then you hear the excuse, how come you didn't start that business? Well, business is really hard. I was afraid I couldn't support my family. I called you to start that business. When you think about it, I called you to be a chiropractor to change the healthcare system,
Right.
not to build a practice. I called you to change the healthcare system. I called you to teach the healthcare that I gave every human being, right? I
Right.
called you to affect generations because we're creating heaven on earth. I called you to create heaven on earth. And that's the spine and nervous system. What happened?
Right.
I think that's the fear.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what you're called to.
Yes. Yes. And like you're saying, sometimes it may not be as clear, but I like what you started saying, there's something else in you that, that needs to be done, expressed, completed, that, it's a symbolic awareness of, holy shit, I don't have an endless amount of time.
Yeah.
This is
It's
gonna
not
end.
infinite in the body. In the body, it's not infinite.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, it is great. We've done other things, but that started off, everybody gets a journal. And then one of the things that we do, which I find it really powerful, we change it up a little. And I'll share this again, Fred. I know you do these yourself, and you've got some other structure. What we basically do, in part of it is, everyone opens a journal. We start with a one person, and because I know all the docs, and I know what's going on, I wrote in the journal for each person a page or two, and then I gave them what we were going to ask them, and it was different for everybody. So
Oh,
let's
that's
say we
awesome.
had let's say we got Dr. John, and I know Dr. John wanted to expand his freedom. Let's say his big one of his big values was freedom. So we said, oh, so what is your biggest value? What is it you want? I want freedom. Why do you think you haven't achieved it yet? What do you think you need to do to achieve it? Those are basically our three questions, let's say. And he goes through that. And it's great. And in many times it's very, very emotional. So if they're there to play, it's going to get pretty intense. And then we go to the next person, and let's say, Bob or John sitting there. We're not asking John to coach anyone. We're saying, John, what do you do to create more freedom and independence in your life? So John would give us at least 3 to 5 things. Then we go to the next person. Hey, Linda, what do you do? And then we go around the horn. We got quite a few docs to go through. And then when we get back to the initial person, then we say to them, what did you take away from what everyone else does? And what are 3 things that you're going to do upon returning home that will expand what your value is, your freedom and independence? And it's really powerful, because I'll tell you, a lot of times, as a coach, as a mentor, we don't have all the answers, obviously. You base on your personal experience, what you've learned from other people, your mentors. And man, you just get some absolutely great insight from everybody. And you realize each time I do it, that everyone's got tragedy, everyone's got scars, everyone's got great ideas, everyone's got great value, everyone's got great insight, perception, perspective. And, so now it's like you're learning from 20 people, in a circle. And man, it was very, very, it was unbelievably powerful. And everybody walked away Saturday with a phenomenal transformation, no doubt about it. So
Oh yeah, man. You let the group coach the group. And
yes,
like you said, then you realize, oh my God, man, my knowledge, as expansive as it is so limited.
yes,
When you hear
yes,
other people's perspective, like, I would have never thought of that.
yes, yes,
That is
yes,
not in my reality.
yes, yes,
But how
yes.
powerful that you can take with things that you can take away.
Oh yeah, I filled a journal. Well, I say that. I mean, half my journal, it's right there actually. Half my journal is filled. I journal every day anyways, but it was great. And then then I take that insight, obviously, when I get on a call with a doc, and each of the docs, now I've got greater information, greater insight.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's something going on in a marriage, sometimes there's something going on in a relationship, sometimes there's something going on with the patient. So as you know, old tragedy, old scars. I mean, a lot of that shit came out, and it was so great. They need, those some people just need to purge, and they let it out. And oh my God, I mean, just, now they go home unburdened or less burdened. And Jesus, I felt, like stuff they felt they couldn't say or didn't want to say, or or, you know, they feel guilty about feeling a certain way or whatever, you know, and it's
Yeah.
just to get that out and they have that and they go home better, they go home stronger, they go home with greater clarity.
Oh my
It was
God, you take your
including
emotional
me,
backpack
including
off.
me. Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
you got
So
that journal sitting in the sand right next to you.
yeah.
Yeah, just brush the sand off it.
Oh, in the sand. Yeah, no, I got it right here.
Yeah, I know. Brush the sand off it there, right?
Here.
Because you're on the beach, right? In Florida.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I got Florida up because our next event is going to be in Florida, November 8th and 9th. So I'm
Nice.
already, my head's already going there. You know, once that ends, you know how that is. You got to change
Yeah,
all your platforms and update everything. And
yeah.
we're in Italy for another month, and you know, looking at that, our experience. One of the things, you know, I'll share with our listeners. Obviously, Fred, you were brought up Italian American. I was brought up Italian American, but one of the things I notice when I'm here, there's a pragmatic nature to life. You know, Melody really gets that now, where like everything they do pretty much in old Italy, I'm not talking wealthy northern Italy, but you know, there's a deliberate intention to what they do. If they put something, if they hang something, if they don't do something, like there's a reason. We were walking through the old village, and it's beautiful. It's what they call Central Storico, and we're walking through the old village, and they had water bottles, 3 water bottles, leaning against every single door for a hundred doors. So you look down these old streets and you see water bottles. Now it's 90 something degrees, and the village here does kind of a lot for people. It's kind of socialism over here. So I thought, again, my perspective, I thought, hey, geez, I assume the town went around and gave everyone a few bottles of water because they were new bottles of water. And so we get to one of the older ladies, and I said, what's the deal with the water bottles? And she said, oh, that's so the dogs don't pee on your front doorstep.
You're kidding.
No,
Like, where'd that come from? You're like,
right.
what?
Right. So as far as you can see on 3 streets, there's 3 bottles of water leaning on the door, and it prevents the dogs from peeing. They'll pee on the side of the building or whatever, but they won't pee on your doorstep, so you're stepping in pee going in and out of the house.
Why
So
the
again,
water bottles stop the dogs? Is
I
that
don't
so
know.
that?
I have no idea. I couldn't get that, and you know, it's tough to understand some of its dialect. My Italian's not that great, and but it was definitely one of those things where you're like, wow, everything they do. My grandparents, for example, they never planted anything that didn't provide food. So, so they would plant a fig tree, they would plant a nut tree, they would plant lemons and limes. Like they would never plant something, excuse me, they would never plant anything that didn't, you know, it looked beautiful, but not just to look pretty. It would always have to provide something, you know.
Yeah. Kind of
Um,
like hanging a pepper from your rear view mirror.
yes, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
see that Sebastian Maniscalco?
Yes.
Oh, what's the pepper for? To protect you from evil spirits?
It's a force
You
field.
don't have that in your family? He's like,
It's a
oh,
force
I
field.
really have to explain this with to his date while he's driving. You don't hang a pepper. That's the Italian horn, man, right? It used to be a pepper
Or baby.
around your neck.
Exactly,
I had one of
exactly.
those in high school, man. I was so proud of that thing.
Me
You know,
too,
unbutton your shirt halfway down, big Italian horn next to the cross, you know, could you flip your hair back?
Exactly.
And they're like, in California, you're not from here, are
Yeah,
you? What are you
yeah.
talking about? How do you know? What shut? Yeah. Like, hey. And by the way, you didn't notice, but I always notice because I grew up this way. You're talking and you're going like this when you're
I didn't
talking
even know I was
about.
doing it. I
I
didn't even
know
know.
that's the funny part. That's what's so funny. Your right hand is going like this, and then you go like this, and then you come back to this again. I love that
Yeah,
about you, by the way.
it's funny.
I know.
So yeah, so so I look at their life is very deep in tradition. So I look at what we do as chiropractors, you know, the having some traditions. You know, for me, it's journaling in the morning.
Yeah.
It's looking at things that I'm grateful for. It's recognizing, like we do a science video and a training video every week for our docs. They're short, and today was on the nervous system, and we were talking about innate, and just and then talking to Andrew about Archie about Reggie, and just paying homage to a few people every day. That tradition that you do, that ritual, how well it serves you, how it anchors you, it grounds you, it makes you stronger, it fulfills you, it fills your heart, it fills your purpose, your mission, your why. So I get a lot of that from here, so it makes me better. Certainly here, and when I go home, it makes me better as a person, as a friend, as a coach, as a chiropractor. So that's a lot of what I get out of some of the things that they do here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's those every culture has its rituals,
Yes.
so it's those are freaking awesome. So
Yeah.
okay, what was another breakthrough? So you had the string and people are like, "Oh my God, man, I need to get busy." And but before I want to make one more comment on that.
Yeah.
I was listening to this lecture the pastor made, and she quoted something from John Maxwell. And he said, if you got a big old tree, big thick tree you want to chop down, he goes, you get an axe and you take 5 swings and then put the axe down. Don't take 50, don't take 500, then go out the next day and do 5 swings. The big tree is a metaphor for whatever your vision is or whatever you're trying to accomplish. And he goes, just do 5 swings a day. That's it. Don't do 50, don't do 500, don't burn out, don't do any of that. Go out, put the axe down, come out 5 more swings, put the axe down 5 more swings, and that tree is going to fall. And so that's it. Persistence wins over talent.
Yes. Yes. So true.
So, because our visions can be so big that it's overwhelming. So, as
Yes.
spiritually, as long as you stay present, what are the 20% of actions that I can do today that will give me 80% of my results? And if
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
do some of those, take those few swings every day, if you do, even if it's two
Correct.
things times 300 days, you take 65 days off. Two
Yeah.
things times 300 is 600 things.
Right.
You made a
Exactly.
massive impact. And then you
Impact.
look at 2 years, 1,200 things of the 20% things that get 80% of your results. It's
Right.
not going to take that long.
Right. Exactly. You think it's gonna, but because you're going out thinking you want to do 500 swings, and you're better
Right.
off, like you say, do it a few. Another great line on that was, as you know, Abraham Lincoln. He said, if I had 8 hours to cut down a tree, I'd spend 6 hours sharpening my axe.
Yeah,
And I love
exactly.
that because it's we're over there
Skill.
working so hard, and it's like, well, wait a minute, focus on your skills. Did you want to do a Monday night group? You want to do a ask the mom, day one, day two, day three, checkup, whatever. Like, you want to do it well. You want to do your marketing or whatever. Like, spend a few minutes and prepare, sharpen that axe. So when you do swing it, it's going to cut something, and it's going to cut it deep, and it's going to get something done. So,
Yeah,
I
then
love
do it with your team. That's a pre-shift huddle, right?
that's exactly right. Yeah. Two other points too, as you said, do the like even one thing. There's a great book which I know you're familiar with, Gary Keller, and it was called The One Thing. One Thing, and I love that book. He goes through several different chapters. One of my go-to books. And there's another great book by Chris Brady, one of my favorite books, and it's called Revolution, and he talks about the American Revolution, but then he talks about the revolution in you and changing yourself and elevating yourself. And another great book, for people that like to read. That's another phenomenal book for transformation, to change, to elevate yourself. So
Absolutely. So let's get one more amazing transformation that
yeah,
people went through, or
yes,
even maybe what was impressed on you, or a great exercise that really made a big impact on people that made them think differently, feel differently by the time they left.
we have a doc who was not in Italy, and he spoke. right after the event, which was really interesting. Dr. Wes Hill, who I love, great guy, and he talked about, like, you know, creating some balance in your life. So I noticed that that was, I don't know if balance was the word that was used, but some of the examples were like, what do I want to be remembered for? You know, what do I want on my tombstone? So we got into a little bit of that, you know, and for me, I when I think about me going into practice, being a chiropractor, being around fucking gladiators. I mean, I was around gladiators. I mean, when you sit with gladiators, it's a different conversation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'm with fucking champions of champions, Sigafus and Reggie and Sid Williams and Fred fucking Barge and Ian Grossman and D'Onofrio. I mean, you're around people that are seeing thousands of people a week, and they are freaking convicted and awesome in every way,
Whole
you
other
know.
level.
Yeah. So when you're around them, you know, that elevates you. So for me, when I look at them, I'm like, wow, they're the greatest chiropractors that ever lived. Like they're awesome. So, you know, they're going to be remembered. You know, Arno passed, right? So he's remembered for many things, but you look at these pictures of people and they're like, wow, he was such a great mentor. And you know, so he's remembered for that, at least from our perspective. So why do I go into that? The takeaway that I had, that a lot of people had, but I had myself, was that the first line on everyone's tombstone isn't chiropractor, you know? And for me, I think, I don't know that. So we talked about, like, what do you want on your tombstone? Like, what would you engrave? And for me, it was like, you know, I wanted to be known as an awesome chiropractor, you know, like just awesome, you know, and to me, that's the standard I had from spending time being around fucking champions and gladiators, you know. And that was my perception and perspective. That was my identity, what I saw, how many people I saw, how many people I adjusted. Like, that really was a metric that gave me value, because that's what I was taught, if you will, or experienced. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying my experience. But to sit around other people that, you know, not right or wrong, but they don't want chiropractor number one. Maybe they don't even want to list it on their tombstone. It doesn't mean they're not chiropractors. Doesn't mean they want to be great chiropractors. Doesn't mean they don't want to do well in life and practice. But some of them want father, you know, as the number one comment. Some of them want mother. Some of them want friend. Some of them want something different. And what was, you know, my takeaway was, sometimes, you know, living in the head of Borio, I'm thinking everybody wants, you know, I'm using this analogy, but it's not exactly what we use, but I'm thinking everybody wants chiropractor listed first on their tombstone, you know, and they
That's
don't,
why.
and that's okay. But for me, it was just like, you know, my takeaway was, wow, like, you know, I'm over here dedicating my life. Awesome, happy, my choice, happy to do it. And I feel compelled to do it. I think it's the right thing to do, especially with the blessings I've had in my life. So I'm thinking, wow, we're really driving these people to be the, you know, the greatest chiropractors, and not that they don't want to be, but they don't necessarily want to be known for that. There's other things that they want to be known for, and again, maybe not even have chiropractor on their tombstone. And that was, you know, that was a learning moment for me, because not everybody wants what I want for them, you know, and I'm thinking I want
Yeah.
that for them. And they're like, well, I want to be better, and I want to be great, and I want to serve more people and see more people and have a better life. But yeah, I don't want that, you know. And so it was a teaching moment for me. It was a transformational moment for me, and it was transformational for them, because I don't think they thought about it. Like, hey, listen, you only got this much string left. What do you want to be known for? What do you want your life to represent in the time that you have? And I think it was an awakening for all of us, you know. So
I
and
absolutely agree 100%, man. And it's that I feel the same way. You know, it's like every time you go outside, you know, just your presence speaks chiropractic. You know, you talk to a stranger in a grocery line, why are they telling me about their irritable bowel? I don't even know this
right,
person.
right,
you know, all of a sudden, and then chiropractic. I just did that walking down yesterday. Hey, what's going on? Blah blah blah. Oh, my daughter just had a baby. Yeah, la la la. And she knows I'm a chiropractor. Yeah, they bring it together, just said. But you know, my other daughter is using IVF. They're having problems. Oh my God! You know how many women failed, paid tens of thousands of dollars, failed with IVF? I
Yes.
fixed their spine and they got pregnant.
Yes.
I just tell them, don't tell them your chiropractor got you pregnant.
Yeah,
But you know,
exactly.
it's the same. You know, it's the same thing. I
And he
remember
looks a lot like Fred. That kid
yeah,
looks a lot like Fred.
I'm blonde and they have dark hair. So, you know, it's funny because I was on a life coaching thing a year. God, it's got to be like 30 years ago. And he said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm a chiropractor." He goes, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I am." "No, you're Fred, and chiropractor. What does you do?" "No, I am
I'm a
a
chiropractor.
chiropractor." "Yeah,
Exactly.
no, you're not." "Yes, I am." I started to
Exactly.
get irritated.
Yes. Yes.
"Well,
Yes.
no, you do this and you do that." "No, I'm a chiropractor." Next thing you know, I'm raising my voice. And then he's well, that's what you do. But then he goes through this long explanation. I could tell it's not going to go anywhere. And I go, "Fine, I'm Fred. I'm a chiropractor." But I whisper, "I'm a chiropractor." Because that's who I am. And that's why when we go out in the general public, I mean, we don't practice. I'm referring people
Right.
to chiropractors every week. And then I listen to people, "You're looking for new patients." Like, my God, how about if you walk outside?
Right.
Because when I walk outside, every person, and I live at the beach, I see they're not, are they under chiropractic care? And then
Exactly.
it's just a matter of whether or not I talk to them. It always ends up in chiropractic.
Exactly.
How could it not? I don't even have to bring it up. It just ends up
Right.
that way because of
Exactly.
them,
Right. Yes.
because you walk with that presence.
Correct. Yes. Yes. You see it. There's a great, I know you've heard it, Reggie did the Valley of the Blind, and he said, "Hey, when I see movies, like I cannot," he started off that lecture with, like, "When I see movies, I can't help it. I see everything through chiropractic, and I do too. I mean, I think
I
I
know, I
get
do too.
that from them."
Yeah, no, it doesn't mean your top value isn't being a father.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
being a father, being a husband, being a wife, being a mom. Yeah, but I'm also a chiropractor,
Right. Right.
right? Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
mom and I'm a chiropractic mom.
Yes.
I'm a dad, I'm a chiropractic dad. So that means all your friends of your children know you're a chiropractor and know that's your
Yes.
primary health care. Your
Yes.
teacher
Yes.
knows, your coach knows,
Yes. Yes.
you know, and if they don't know, I'll tell
Right. Yeah, I was listening to Patrick Bet David recently, and he was talking about people that are high achievers. And you're a high achiever, I'm a high achiever. And by that, I mean, within our practices, I mean, I live, breathe, and, ate chiropractic on every level I possibly could. I mean, nothing else existed. I'm not saying
them.
right or wrong. I'm just saying that's, and it's like Lance Armstrong, I'm a socio fucking path when it comes to chiropractic, and, um, and he said, those guys that are high achievers are women as well, people. They're, they don't really have an off switch, so I wasn't looking to take a vacation to get away from chiropractic. I wasn't looking to do something to get away from practice. I come out to Italy and the next thing you're adjusting 30 or 40 people and you're making
Oh,
tables. You know what I mean? So
I know.
there's a great movie was Ford versus Ferrari, and there's a scene in there about 2/3 of the way through where Matt Damon was representing Carroll, the race car designer, and he
Yeah.
said, got up there and spoke, and he said, some people laugh that love what they do and don't like what they do, and the people that love what they do every day, they're great, they're blessed, they love to go to work. He said, but there's another group of people that they're compelled, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but they're compelled to do it. And he said, I'm one of those people. Henry Ford's one of those people, and
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. And I heard that, it was just one of those moments where, like, yeah, like I'm not thinking like, how do I do it? What's a better way? I'm not even strategizing sometimes. I'm just doing it, and when I analyze it, like there's no other way that I would do it, so that so that's me, but that's not everybody else, and And that's okay. That's okay. And, so my goal is to, my takeaway, and I think the transformation for me was, my goal is to make you a little bit better every day. My goal is to make you a little better as a person, better as a self-development, business coach, mentor, teacher, better chiropractor. But it's not to make you want chiropractic or chiropractor on your tombstone, or the first thing to be known for, recognized, and listed. That's for me. That's me. That's not for
Yeah.
you. So,
Right.
yeah, so it was great in so many different levels, and it really made me understand. I think a lot of my mentors and teachers, they were the same. They were compelled. I mean, Gilardi starting Sherman College, him and his wife. I mean, Sid Williams starting Life University, and their life and the sacrifices. And we look at that and go, wow, well, look at the sacrifice. To them, it wasn't even fucking sacrifice. To them, it was, I'm compelled. Like, there was no other way I would do it. You know what I mean? Like, this is the only way I would live my life. So BJ, Dee Dee, Mabel, I mean, all those people. So it was great. It made me think a lot about that. That's what I've been journaling on a lot as well. So
Absolutely. So, one thing I want to mention, if you're still with us, is August 5th through the 9th, I'm giving a 5-day challenge, how I master my practice, how to work on your practice, not in your practice. You're going to learn some things that are not taught in chiropractic that we actually talk about here on this, but this is such a unique conversation. There's going to be principles that how your practice can run with you, without you, and really what it is. Some people, well, this system and that system. Hey, you know what? When you have a patient that is committed to chiropractic lifestyle and has the purpose for that to be the primary health care of every generation to come, they're not coming for you anymore.
right.
You get 400 of those a month, and most of them are coming once a week. You don't have to do anything anymore. It runs with you or without you. So we're going to show you how to create the team, and how to create, and the mindset and the business model of how to create that. So the landing page and all that, get registered, get on there. That way, minimally, we can at least send you the recordings, but be there live. So that's
That's
a
great.
free event. So want to get that out there. And then the next thing is, on just quickly on what you said, there's people that really want to grow, but they don't know how to do it. And it's not that they don't know how, it's they don't have the right mindset.
Yes.
And what it really comes down to is you have to be obsessed. It's an
You do.
obsession because it's a sole purpose.
Correct.
Because if you don't have that spiritual belief that that's one of the reasons, a main reason why you're here in this physical body, then you'll settle for success. I always say success is the enemy of purpose, because
Yes.
success makes you complacent.
Right.
And those are the people, they can look around, have a great house, have a great family. It's all wonderful, it's fulfilling, and it's amazing. And thank God. And then you have that feeling like there's something else inside you. And that's your purpose. That's the vision that is sitting inside you that you know. And then if you look around and justify, there's so much gratitude for what you have, but then there's that dissatisfaction. And that's the torment. And that's the fear on that
Yeah.
string,
Yes.
right? Just
Yes.
reach for it, man. And if there's anybody that can help you do that, my good friend on the other end, sitting on the beach in Florida, Joe Borio, I'd be giving him a call ASAP.
I will tell you, there's again, another movie, Schindler's List, when
Oh yeah.
Schindler is at the car and the Jews are trying to rescue him because the Allies are coming in, and he was viewed as a Nazi sympathizer, even though he wasn't. But he started to reflect, like, wow, look at the car. Like, I could have done so much more. I had all this money. I could have saved so many more people. And they gave him a ring, and then the ring, it says, You know, the person who saves one life saves the world in time, you know, and it was that moment where he started to reflect, how much time did I waste? You know, he looked at his string, if you will, you know, like, oh my God, look how much I wasted. Look which time I wasted. What else could I have done? I could have done so much more. And yeah, I think what we're talking about today, I mean, that's that being obsessed, you know, like there's a great line in the end of another Matt Damon movie with Tom Hanks and Saving Private Ryan. You know, Tom Hanks is dying,
Oh yeah.
and he says, "Don't waste this. You know, don't waste this. Like, don't waste. We're happy to have done the sacrifice. I'm happy to have given my life for you, but don't waste this. Like, at some point, it doesn't mean you can't have family and kids and go to the ball games and all that other things. But man, at the very least, when you are in the office, don't waste it. Don't waste a moment. Don't devalue it. Don't dilute it. You know, don't. It's too precious. It's too important. It's too significant. I think owning that, you know, obviously listening to you and focusing on that will have a huge impact on your practice for sure. So
Oh, absolutely, man. So cool. Well, I hope this was valuable to you guys. We'll be having guests coming up soon. I think next time we got Paul Reed coming up. I
oh,
scheduled him. I got to look at the date. Yeah. So we're gonna help. We're gonna talk about ChiroFest and his purpose, and just such a great leader, right? So,
great leader. He's a coach too, and he's got huge value and just he's
oh
fantastic.
man, just a great dude.
Such a
Period.
great guy on every
Yeah.
level.
So, and we got others coming up. So hang with us. Subscribe. Please share these. And look into the events that Joe's giving, and look into the events we have on Elite Coaching. They're on
Yeah,
our website,
yeah,
elitecoachingllc.com. We have a retention boot camp coming up. How to get to an 80 to 100 PVA.
yeah,
So we will definitely show you exactly how to do that and how to impact generations with chiropractic healthcare. So
no doubt,
it's
no
coming
doubt.
up the end of August. Go to elitecoachingllc.com. All right, you guys. Hey, love you guys. Love you, Joe.
Look
Always
back at
great hanging
it.
with you. And we'll see you soon.